himself.
Hell yeah.
That messed me up to where I couldn't do the intro. Welcome, everybody, to Trip Ding Wrestling Podcast, where we're still just in the infancy of making this podcast, where we still mess up a little bit. We got me, David Dickerman, Trey Welts. Man, I'll never get your last
Witzel.
Witzel. And El Chino. And all we do is talk wrestling. We'll go about what's happened over the weekend, what we thought was interesting at least. But our first thing is kind of an important one. It's just basically a shout out. If, just give us a moment of our time. I'm going to share a website in the comments right now. What it is, I'm going to show you if you're watching what it actually is. It's for the United American Patriot .org, and it's for Major James Carpenters Jr. And what it is a petition for him to upgrade his Silver Star up to a Medal of Honor. He was recently on the Sean Ryan show, and please just go in there. It's a quick, put your name in, do all the stuff, and it gets signed up, and hopefully pretty soon that he'll get a Medal of Honor. He's 83, I think now. 87 years old. Let's get him that medal and honored, to where it's a strange story to where what had happened with him, to where the reason why he wasn't able to get the Medal of Honor was because the person that was going to put him in died in a helicopter crash, and then his next officer supervisor basically didn't like him. From what the guy said, he was a racist and didn't put him in, and eventually it got thrown around again. Hopefully you guys put it in the position. It's something simple, stupid, and you can help somebody out.
Yep. I'm glad I just signed it myself. So
yeah, I did it. Yeah. As soon as I
I'm fin to.
But as soon as I saw it from another TikToker, podcaster, as soon as he mentioned it, went straight in, signed it. It's something stupid, simple to help somebody out. Just sign something, going, okay. So, but listen to his story on Sean Ryan. It was actually very interesting. How he grew up in life, throughout his life and everything. But that is the important news of the week for non-wrestling. Now we're gonna get to wrestling.
All right. Starting off with a recap of Monday Night Raw.
That was interesting.
What's that?
I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. I just kind of want to do a little quick and dirty. We had Uso versus Grayson Waller. I'm convinced that Grayson Waller has the gayest attire in the entire WWE roster.
No, there's gayer.
Isn't it funny though that a while back John Cena told him when was it Grayson Waller and Austin Theory that y'all are just one black trunk away from being jobbers.
He was wearing like loose Muay Thai shorts or something. I don't know. It was weird, and they were zebra striped. It looked dumb. And Jey Uso is the most over person in the WWE right now. Nobody comes close to getting a louder pop. Towards the end of the episode last night when that went down, I don't think that pop was as loud as Uso's at the beginning.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of recognition.
Yep.
Here lately, and it's good recognition, and it's well deserved. I mean, for the past couple of days, I've been watching like all kinds of wrestling matches and everything. Just to get my knife sharpened a little bit. So doing this podcast, Now, looking at the 15 years as just doing like little quick matches, funny stuff that he's been doing. But here lately, I mean, if you can get the whole stadium to interact with you,
Every single one of them, dude.
every single one, even the announcers. I mean, look at
McAfee up on the table.
Yeah, every time.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But then let's see, moving on to the next was not a match, but a promo that was cut. And that was when Logan Paul came out. And
that was a promo. It's just, just started the show when it was actually pretty good.
He starts talking about AJ, and then he calls in Andrew Schultz, thinking that Andrew Schultz is going to give him flowers.
Yeah.
And Andrew says, Logan, nobody is here to see you. And man, Logan got pissed, threw him into the ring, and then it was on.
Yeah.
Then, of course, a couple minutes later, here comes AJ to save the day. But that was badass to see Schultz get involved. I love Andrew Schultz.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen his Netflix special that just came out live?
Yeah. We watched it a couple nights ago.
Dude, that was hilarious. Yeah, I watched it a couple of nights ago too. It makes you laugh and it makes you get really bad allergies. I'm talking really bad allergies. I had to stop it for a while, and
what are you doing?
I had to stop it for a while, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do it for a little bit. Just all that allergy stuff that was happening. It was a lot of allergies.
So in that next match was the LWO versus New Day.
That
random, good decent match, but at the end we had the American-made luchador come out. Who is this guy?
Yeah.
Who is this dude?
Well, I don't know. It was bad security from what one of the other wrestlers said. Chad,
we know it's not Ric Flair.
That's definitely. It's not Hogan. Because remember Hogan's American luchador stuff?
Yeah. With the big mustache still sticking out of it.
Yeah. I'm not Hogan.
I don't know who that guy is. There's a couple different rumors. One was that it was what's his name, Gable, and then you guys were saying something about it was bad security.
Yeah, it was bad security. I mean, didn't you watch like the interview that was on Raw?
Was this before the main event?
Yeah, that was like right before the main event.
No,
Chad Gable came out and they're talking about it. They were blaming him, and then in the background you see like a dude with the American flag luchador mask getting taken away by security.
No, I didn't see that part. I fast forwarded through to the main event so I could be on the show on time. my bad. I skipped the interview.
Good reporting.
But yeah, I watched about half of it last night before I jumped off to watch Kill Tony with the wife. So
yeah.
And then, dude, good match with Bayley and Raquel.
Yes. Here lately, and I have to say this with the preface that I watched the old WCW matches because it's a thing on Netflix. It's like some kind of promotion. You can look up on YouTube WCW, and it's like a live stream of all the I don't know when it stops per match and what match you're gonna get at. I mean, but I was watching it. I mean, they were I think they were in a Galleria in Dallas doing a match inside the mall. In the mall,
yeah. Probably where they set the ice rink up at, huh?
Yeah. And they were doing a match there. That was just watching those old matches to where they did not care if they got hurt or not. You can tell because they were waylaying each other.
Yeah.
Like really good. I was like, oh.
And then I feel like jobbers probably had it worse back in the day. They just showed up to get beat. Like they just got the brakes beat off of them.
Oh yeah, and it was, and now the only ones that are actually doing that kind of like, I mean, they're doing like some the men's side of the divisions are doing some nice, athletic stuff that looks cool sometimes, but it's honestly the women that are actually doing like that. I want to watch the matches.
Yeah. Dude, Charlotte's back. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see her, and what goes down there. Speaking of the women, Io Sky came out, and I'm not a fan of her mic skills. I don't like it.
She probably has better mic skills if she's speaking her actual language.
Yeah,
she's a Japanese wrestler that came into the United States. Well, actually, she went from Australia to America. The fuck?
I told y'all one way or another it's gonna be a 3-way.
Yep.
Somehow, some way, they're gonna make it a 3-way.
Yeah.
How about the disrespect from Rhea and Bianca though, just pushing her in the face like that?
The disrespect, but it just made Io that much bigger.
When Rhea did that, I was like,
oh, hell no.
Io didn't immediately respond. I was like, oh, dude, like the champ has to do something. Like she should have smacked her in the head with that belt,
Oh yeah.
And then when Bianca did it, I was like, oh, they both about to get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm like, man, y'all are messing with the wrong egg roll, man. She's gonna fuck y'all. I'm sure mess y'all up.
We're 11 minutes in. You can cuss now. But
trying not to cuss her and trying to be more approachable.
Yeah. That is actually a good thing. But one thing that got me on that was the fact that I think the way they did it was kind of, it was too childish for me. If you look back at it and watch it again, it was really just too childish, and I just in the situations, and I hate to go back to the old stuff. I mean, if that actually happened, like in the old days, it would have just been that one push, and it would have been that belt to the face, like you said.
Yeah.
That would have been automatic, and they would just be beating the crap out of each other.
But you throw that extra person in the ring, and it changes the dynamic too.
A little bit, but they still used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like the real talk. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
the real talk.
I like the real talk. I like Bianca's attitude, the way she came across, I think Bianca probably comes out the winner of this match.
Yeah. Did we talk about what happened? We didn't talk about what happened on SmackDown though. No. With Bianca. The one thing that pulls this into was, man, I forgot her name. I know Naomi and Bianca, they were in the ring and they were talking, and she was admitting that she did do it. She did it for the tag team, and Naomi had this ridiculous neck brace that was bedazzled. It matched the outfit. I'll say that, but that's going to be an interesting storyline if it actually comes to fruition, because the way they acted was like a really good soap opera.
I was looking through the notes that I had from the other day, trying to remember that girl's name from the one you talk about, the one that smashed her in the chamber, right?
Yeah.
I had her name written down from the Elimination Chamber, but I don't know where that pad is. So old school, dude. I've got a yellow steno pad that I've got my show notes on.
Hey, it works.
Ballpoint pen, brother. But and then on to the main event.
Jade Cargill.
Yeah, there you go. Jade Cargill. Then we still never discussed the main event
of
Raw.
Yeah. We can still discuss it.
It was kind of a big deal. Friggin' cage match.
that was actually of.
Dude, they tore the roof off that place.
They did. It was a really good matchup. It was old school wrestling.
Yeah.
That's I mean, they went out and they just went at it.
Lick for lick, chop for chop.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like was I don't mind using your opponent's finisher on them, but don't kick out of my shit 3 times. That's a little excessive.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe if you hit one finisher and then your other like secondary finisher or something.
Well, okay, when you use the thing with the finishers, if you use your opponent's finisher, that's a good indication of they're going to kick out. Because they're not going
to be counted.
It's not their power doing that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're using the finisher. I totally understand that. Is good story play on that.
I think it was Undertaker they talked about. Didn't he talk about it on his podcast? About, dude, if somebody would have kicked out of the tombstone more than twice.
Recently, yeah.
But
well, I was watching I think I was watching the Undertaker versus Undertaker match. And that exact happened in that match. But I get your. It's one of those things. You also got to understand. I mean, this is the way I watch WWE nowadays. It's you have to put in your mindset. It's part of a story.
Yeah,
and you got to look for that end of the story, and not oh my God, I'm going to see a fighting match.
Dude, what kind of? I mean, last night was amazing. And that's what she said. But what kind of match are they gonna put on at Mania, dude?
I don't
like
know.
It's gonna be fucking.
Yeah, it's 2 days now.
Yeah, well, it has been the last couple of years.
We got Lone Wolf, love the podcast, keep it up. Trey Chino, we need an OGCS to get together.
Lone Wolf, was that John or Jason? I can't tell from the avatar.
That was a wolf.
It was a wolf?
Yeah.
I was trying to see who it was. Oh, that might be maybe Chris. Might be Chris Dykeman.
But there we go. There we go.
Well, are you back?
Hey, that was. I was all like, "Damn, I got voted off the island." Shit.
Yeah.
You hit that part of the south side where there ain't no signal.
No, I'm back. I'm back for a little bit. Well, I'm driving, so.
Hey, hey, Chino, what is your, because you're the wrestling expert on this? It's Big Chris.
There you go. What's up, Chris?
What is because the way I was describing it is that if the opponent uses the other opponent's finisher, that gives a little bit of leeway that he's allowed to kick out more times as long as he's using the opponent's finisher and not his own. Is that kind of like a thing with that?
That just all goes to how whoever the agent for the matches, whoever's putting the match together, that just really depends. Because sometimes you're doing it because you're a heel, and you're gonna steal your opponent. You're gonna steal the face's finisher, and you get over with it. And it's like, oh, like damn. Or you're the face, and the agent's like, and you normally see this like when there's a build up to the match, not like, oh, well, it's so and so versus so and so. I want you to steal the fin. That's it. There's no build up to it. You get the build up.
That's what we
What's
were
up?
talking about with the main event last night. With Punk hit him 3 times with the GTS, and then he stomped him twice,
Yeah.
and they used each other's finishers like probably a total of 6 times.
Well, yeah, because it's like my finisher's not getting the job done. So let me use his finisher. Let me see how he likes it. That whole ending was great. That whole finish to the match was the chef's kiss, because I was just like, okay, so they're using and then you see the ending and you're like, that was good. That was really good.
Because spoiler alert, you should have watched it yesterday or today.
This is a recap show, y'all.
Yeah. Roman Reigns comes in with Paul Heyman, grabs Seth Rollins, pulls him out of the thing, gets him the win for that match, but beats the holy crap out of him, does a curb stop on him. The main thing on this, I think it's gonna be it might be Mania, it might not, because like I said, it's 2 days. They do WrestleMania for 2 days now. So there's matches on Saturday and there's matches on Sunday. Now they have a lot of area they have to fill up. I mean, last year on Saturday, it was Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
For the main event, it was a tag team match, and the next day it was Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. It was very. It was really unexpected for me, because I was just like, "What? Why are they doing? What? Okay, is this a fight now?" Or it just got confusing for me because I was just getting back into it, and then I just figured it out after I watched it. I checked a little bit.
So there's 2 ways this can play out. The first night main event, Rollins, Romans, Punk, right?
Yeah. Because it was the whole thing with Paul Heyman culling CM Punk, and Raymond's got pissed off and he beat the crap out of CM Punk.
Yeah.
So.
Or night 2, Roman, Cena, Rhodes, Punk calls his favor in, and it becomes a 4-way.
Cena,
that one's reaching. That one is way reaching. But remember, Punk still has that favor that Heyman owes him.
Yeah, but Paul Heyman can't really do anything to get.
I mean,
the match done.
He wears a fuck ton of hats. Like he's.
Well, okay.
Let's put it this way. If he can spin it to creative, and he can spin it the way he normally spins everything and makes everything work, who's to say it won't happen?
You're right on that. He is actually really good at that. But
you have to remember that this man made CM Punk, not made him, but made him in the WWE.
Well, yeah, he reintroduced him. But
because he's the one that, when they wanted to get rid of Punk down there in good old FCW, and Heyman's on, no, let me see what I can do, and he made him a star.
Yeah, but I still think that's it might be the Saturday event with all those people fighting, and then we still have a main event like we did last year. But like I said, they have 2 days. It's hard to fill 2 days because you're doing 2 shows back to back.
Yeah, and if I remember right, their numbers weren't that great last year, were they?
Their
attendance was bad.
The attendance wasn't all that bad, but it got bigger because of after the match. Because all the shares and everything, people are starting getting back into WWE.
Just a second.
Watching wrestling begin with, they're starting to come back to it. Because I mean, look at us right now. We're talking about it. We're getting back into it. we're starting to love it again, and it's just one of those things that it had a spark, it flew up, and it caused a big fire. I mean, look at LA.
Nice.
I was thinking how to do that. What happened?
So they started it. Wasn't that the night before? Wasn't WrestleMania like the night before the LA fire started?
That was like 6 to 7 months. No,
No,
it was
there was an event. Maybe it was Raw.
No. It was Raw because they did the Netflix special. They did
At the Staples Center.
And they almost couldn't do it because of the fires.
Okay. Yeah, I knew something was right around that same time. But.
Yeah. It was kind of like the same time frame. Because I was thinking, I was like, what is he talking? No. Oh, I got it now. It had a click. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and talk about LFG, and we'll get to our last bit.
It was a good week. There was a lot of the replacement for what's his name? The replacement came in, was able to wrestle. It's starting to get into a lot more backstage drama.
Oh, okay.
And, to the point where my wife was actually like, "Hey, dude, like, I don't give a shit about wrestling, but like, I'll watch LFG with you." So it's turned out good. This was the episode where Michelle was on.
Okay.
And where she was helping. What's her name? Damn, I'm drawing a complete blank on LFG. But
I
the
know
effects of long-term alcohol use, y'all.
Yeah.
But so Michelle got caught helping her by the Undertaker, and the Undertaker's like, "Hey, dude, you know this is a competition, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, she asked me to help." Mickey James. She said, she asked me to help her out. And so I'm just kind of like working with him. And then Michelle talks to one of the girls who, like, she's the chick that used to be the cheerleader at for the Titans.
Dana Ray.
Say again.
Dana Ray.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the cast right now.
Okay. So she goes and Michelle talks to her and says, "Hey, you don't really have a finisher or anything that you can do. I know one that I think would work for you." And she said, "Well, what is it?" And she said, "Well, it's the Hell's Gate, and you need to go ask that man if you could use it." And so she walks up to him like, "Mr. Coach Taker," and
see, like doing. I like it. I watched the clip of that. And I had to try to find like the full clip of it, but I had to try to find the full clip of it, and it was interesting. And yeah, that's how things are supposed to be done. I mean,
yeah,
wrestling, yeah, but go up and ask. The worst thing they can do is tell you no. And the person
I totally missed that.
Say again?
What happened? I totally missed that.
Oh, we're just talking about LFG.
We're talking about asking about using someone else's move. If you say you have a move you're kind of good at, like what happened with this was Hell's Gate. Michelle Cool, Undertaker's wife, Mark
Calloway.
He does the Hell's Gate. So Michelle, his wife, goes up and is like, "Hey, I got a finisher move that you can use. Go ask my husband about it. See if he can use it." If you had a move and I wanted to use it, would it be disrespectful if I just went out and used it, or would it be more respectful? You would have more respect for me if I go, "Hey, Chino, I want to see if I could do one of your moves. I haven't seen you use it in a while, and I was just wondering if it's something that kind of situation. I haven't seen you use it in a while."
it all depends how long you've been in the business. You know, if you've been in for a while, or you've been in for, got a good couple years under your belt, whatever. You go up to someone, hey, blah blah blah. A lot of times they'll give you the rub. They'll be like, all right, yeah, no, for sure you can do it, or man, sparingly, or whatever the case may be. These people haven't even been in a year.
Some of them, yeah, some of them have, some of them haven't. Some of them, this show was their first experience at all. Okay, dude, they're recruiting people from like combines and shit.
I get that, especially as Michelle McCool, you're a Hall of Famer now. Well, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. It shouldn't be a problem. My husband's cool with it, but is he really? Some of us have had to ask.
Well, no, she made her go ask.
Yeah,
and Taker looks at her and he says, you got 2 minutes in this business. I've been doing the Hell's Gate for 30 years. He said, take some guts for you to come up to me and ask me that, kid.
That was more or less show.
Go ahead and do it.
But it was actually good. Good.
Yeah, I had to ask Steen. I mean, I asked him out of respect, if I could do the package. Because he really wasn't doing it anymore. He just started doing it again. But for the longest time, he wasn't doing it. He was doing that, the pop-up power bomb, or it looks like he was gonna do it, and then right into a fall away or into a backbreaker. So I mean,
well, look how many people use the RKO. RKO, yeah. Sorry.
Well, it depends, because you have.
I think you meant to say the diamond cutter, sir.
You have the diamond cutter, the ace cutter, the ace crusher. You have the stunner. You have
stunner's different. The RKO, you're the opponent.
It's a variant. It's a variant. Okay, if that's the case, then you have the RKO, you have the ace crusher, the skull crusher, those are all different names for it. From all different people have used it. You know who the diamond cutter, but the person who originally used it was John Laurinaitis.
Yeah,
really,
in all Japan.
No
when
shit.
He was Johnny Ace.
Yeah, I just watched a thing with Diamond Page, and he was talking about that.
And then it was like Diamond. When Dallas, you got to remember, Dallas was a very late.
Yeah, dude, he didn't start wrestling until he was my age.
I mean, was he in wrestling? Yeah, I mean,
he was about to get fired from doing promotion stuff.
He was a manager.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, he drove Honky Tonk Man and Greg the Hammer Valentine to WrestleMania. He was the guy driving the pink Cadillac.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like WrestleMania, like -8 or some shit like that.
So they told him, hey, we're about to let you go. And he's like, well, what if I learn to wrestle? And he did, dude.
That's why, but to come back, you always want to ask. Once again, like I said, it depends, because sometimes the guy the wrestler may be, yeah, you know what, like Taker, you have the balls. Don't fuck it up. Don't mess it up.
This is terrible.
Yeah, don't mess it up and run with it. And then some people will be like, no, hell no. I've seen it. It's like, hell no.
Yep.
Well, I there's only like one move that you can't really take away, and that's a 3D.
I mean,
the triple D from the Mighty Ducks. Oh.
You have the D1. Same thing.
Yeah, true.
You have to remember that wrestling was always evolving. Like what was, and that's why it's hard to keep the business alive, to protect the business, because 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the super kick wasn't like, oh, that's it, you ain't kicking out of the super kick. Now you got super kick parties. There's very far and few between moves that are still protected. The DDT, I believe, is one of those moves that is still very protected, because you don't see a lot of people really kick out of it.
No.
I really liked when they were protecting Corbin. What was it called? End of Days or something like that? Like if you look, like no one kicked out of it.
Huh.
The leg drop was protected for the longest time.
Such a cheese dick finisher, dude.
But here's the thing: had Ultimate
With a
Warrior
Kobe.
not screwed up, it still would have been protected.
Yeah.
Because Ultimate Warrior was late to get there. They had to kick out of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, finishers, ask permission. Yes, you get it. Cool. If not, oh well. But at the same time, too, the most simplest of moves were finishers.
Yeah.
Your suplex was a finisher before. Your back body drops. Your clothesline.
Explain your finisher.
Which one? I have 3.
What's your main rank them? 1,
The
2,
main
3.
one you use almost all the time.
Oh, the Chino driver, which is the package.
Okay.
I have that one, and actually that one, it's that one, and then I have the Death Valley driver into the turnbuckle. So like I'm there, and I'll run into the turnbuckle, and I'll do it, and they'll basically like their back is up against it, and then I have cattle mutilation, and that one I did. That one I also asked Dragon if I can use that one.
Okay, here's another question that it'd be a good question. Is what's the big difference between a technical wrestler and a non-technical wrestler? Because I remember an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he was talking about he was going up to Bret Hart, and it had to be like
it was the I Quit match. It was him. That's where he passed out, and Ken Shamrock was the referee. That's where he passed out of that match. So they both left strong. Bret won. So your technical wrestlers are those guys that are just like they're the masters of the mat. They call them mat classics.
Yeah, it was more like, from my understanding, listening to Bret talk about it, was your guys like him that are the technical wrestlers are the ones that are drilling arm locks and arm tosses and stuff like that. And they're making sure that these moves are executed perfectly with each other, versus where today it's more of just like an athleticism type of deal.
Well, don't get me wrong. Like,
and what can we pull off?
Like, once again, it came to like what I talked about last time: wrestler and worker. As a worker, I can do all that. As a wrestler, hey, I can wrestle. As a worker, you can work any style. Top 7 technical wrestlers that you ever want to watch that will always give you. And this is in no particular order: Zack Sabre Jr., Danielson, Benoit, Malenko,
Dean Malenko, bro, for sure.
Guerrero,
Eddie,
yeah,
absolutely.
Bret Hart, and like I said, no person, Kurt Angle,
yeah,
Mr. Perfect,
wrestling machines, Mr. Perfect. So Mr. Perfect is an honorable mention. And the only reason why he's an honorable mention, and this is just to me, this is before whoever does watch this starts in the comments, oh, that fat ass don't know what he's talking about, blah, 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 whatever, right? Square up. Can he wrestle? Is he a technical wrestler? Yes. But that was like in his like in Stampede, AWA, NWA days. When he got to the big show, it was just a show. It was a spitting the gum up and slapping it and throwing the towel behind your back and doing the promos where he's not looking and shooting the basketball back and shut your whore mouth. And it's one of those things where he's an honorable mention. Him and Owen are honorable mentions. But as far as technical, those guys, you'll never have a bad match with.
Okay.
And then plus just
here's another good question. This is for all of us. Is okay. We all mentioning Chris Benoit, and this is kind of like faux pas. We probably won't get like WWE mention because of this or anything. Because there was an interview with Kurt Angle, and he was like, I can't talk about any of my matches anymore, and it doesn't look like I do that much because all my good matches were with Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
I mean,
Him?
how devastating is it that
You know who didn't have a good match with Chris Benoit?
his mom,
I mean,
his wife?
That's what I was gonna say.
well, first of all, Benoit didn't do it. So, anyways,
Oh, wait, hold on, time the fuck out. What do you mean Benoit didn't do it?
man,
Let's go.
Oh, come on.
Oh no, I haven't heard this.
All
I
right,
wanna
all
hear
right,
this
all right,
now.
all right. Listen. I'm gonna start down this rabbit hole a little bit. I'm thinking for next shows, our next week's show should be wrestling dark side or wrestling
We'll do it.
unknown
next
known.
week. We'll do.
I like
we'll
a dark
do-
side episode.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we'll
here
do
you
a
go.
dark side episode next
Kevin
week.
Sullivan did it.
You really think that?
So check this out. We would do Legends Fest. And of course, and this is always like in North Carolina or Georgia or Alabama, or it's always somewhere, down that way. Well, a couple
Okay, who are you
times,
talking about again?
Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah,
Okay, the Taskmaster.
the Taskmaster.
You got to remember, Kevin Sullivan's old lady was Deborah. Not Deborah. What was her name? Woman. But
Nancy
then
Benoit.
I can't remember.
no,
Oh.
she just went by woman. For the longest time, she went by woman. But that
Nancy.
was Taskmaster's old lady. Well, then her and Chris would travel on the road together. Obviously, she was with Kevin Sullivan. Chris Benoit was married. They started running an angle where she was cheating on Kevin, or she was cheating on Sullivan with Benoit. Well, as we know in wrestling, as you see, fiction becomes fact.
Yep.
So they got together, and that's why after they got together and all kinds of stuff, when you would see Taskmaster and Benoit go at it, like go back and look at those matches in WCW, like those are shoots, like those are like Stan Hansen Vader freaking shoots, man. Like those are like wow. So then everything happens, right? 2007 comes around. It was supposed to be Punk against Benoit, which was that right there would have been a great match. That would have been a clinic. Everything doesn't add up. And when you go down this rabbit hole of like information that got changed on different sites before anyone knew about this, the way they found Nancy, that's her name, Nancy.
Yeah.
The way they found her body tied up, like bondage type, like just tied up as bondage with rope, which her and Benoit never did, but her and Kevin Sullivan did. The way they found his body, like just everything. When you go and look at it, and people, you're a conspiracy theorist. I to an extent, I am when it comes to wrestling. But for the most part, when you go do your own research, you're like, oh no. That's why I was hoping that because Kevin Sullivan, he passed away, right? And I was like, come on, you're gonna die, bro. Like in the next 10 minutes, just admit it. Just admit you did it.
He just
Come
died
on.
recently.
And then he went to the grave with it. Go look at that. But Kevin Sullivan did it. I'm sorry. We would be, like I said, we'd be a Legends Fest. And a lot of the old timers will bring it up. Like, and some of them were legit about it. Were like, so why'd you kill Chris? Why'd you kill Nancy? And he would just laugh.
God damn. Yeah, I'm gonna do some research on that before.
Dude, I'm telling you,
before
do
next
some
week's
research
episode for sure.
There's like it just doesn't add up. Nothing adds up, especially like the phone call that Chavo got, that this and that. The biggest one was when I think Wikipedia was around then too. Wikipedia just started, and someone had already put that they died, that they were murdered in the Wikipedia pages hours before anyone knew anything happened.
Damn.
And that when they check the site, or how like when you check the IP address, stuff like that, it came from like Hartford, Connecticut. So like you have to understand, like wrestling rabbit holes are crazy. let let me bounce one more off on you really quick because I'm not going to get into too much detail. Would you believe me? There's a 16-year difference. Would you believe me if I told you that, I don't know, Cody is actually Dusty's son and not Dustin's? I mean, Dustin's son's not Dusty's?
Dude, that damn. Okay.
Hold on.
Dude, I'm telling
No,
you.
no, no, no.
Look it up.
Let's not get into
But
this now. Let's
We'll-
save
we'll-
this
we'll-
shit for
if
next
you want, I
week.
would love to do this
Yeah.
episode next show
Oh yeah.
because, dude, we only have like 14 minutes. I mean, maybe 20, and we go for a little longer. But there are so many, and there's so many that are known. You know, like Macho Man with Stephanie, and then
Yeah.
all these other. But look at David's face; he's reading something.
I'm
no.
that baby Pepe boss.
Okay. Dustin Rhodes is 55 years old, and
I'm just saying, like I said, do your research, and we can wait for next week's show, or however you want to do it. I'm just saying, like, to go back to what you're saying, it sucks, dude, because he's right, dude. Look, Kurt and Chris had some of the most best matches in SmackDown history. When you go back and look at those matches, dude, those were just the Kurt and Chris and Lesnar. Anybody that worked with Benoit on SmackDown that time, they were coming out with a banger match.
Benoit was, I mean, he was a hell of a wrestler. I'm not gonna lie, I loved the dude when I was little.
Dude,
Like he was one of my favorite wrestlers in WCW.
I liked him better when he was in WWE because he was more vocal in WWE than he was in WCW.
Because I watched everything. I loved him as Pegasus Kid. and
Wow.
that's Japan.
Okay. On the road stuff,
You motherfuckers aren't gonna let it go, are you?
Dustin had to been like 16.
And he was 16.
That's what he's saying.
He was 16. He was in high school. Got a girl pregnant. And then next thing you know, hey, you raised a kid. We're talking about Cody being Dustin's son. What?
Oh, that's reaching.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, hold on. Look, I'm not even looking at her. Hey, who killed Nancy and Chris?
Oh, fuck you.
Who killed him?
No, I'm not doing that.
Who killed him?
The bastard just died. Fuck him.
Dude, we've gone down these rabbit holes. They're horrible.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll do that next.
We'll do that next show.
We got one more thing before we go off the air, and that's Lex Luger being in the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. It is well deserved. He's trying to get the introduction by Sting and DDP.
That would be cool.
He's trying to do a double introduction.
So
to introduce him to the Hall of Fame.
I personally, I remember Lex, WCW, WWE, and then watching him, like the old footage from World Class. My only issue, not that he did it himself per se, but he had a huge hand in the death of Miss Elizabeth.
He's the reason she's fucking.
He admitted to it.
Yeah. So
he admitted to
murder.
All the things that they were doing together. They just kept pushing each other, and basically, like, her heart gave out first.
Well, it was. Because they were just.
He even said he was like, I kind of deserved this because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, he takes a lot of responsibility now, and he knows where he's at, and he's trying to get it to where he just can walk now. But
that's where karma bit him in the ass.
Yeah, in a big way.
Because he fell asleep on a plane, and then when he woke up, couldn't move.
Yeah. But yeah, that was it's one of those sad stories that when you he didn't it's man, it's kind of hard.
He was that or the new generation coming in, our generation growing up watching wrestling. He was supposed to be our Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he was supposed to replace Hogan in WCW.
He was supposed to replace Hogan, but it never panned out that way. He something always happened, or not something always happened, but it just
he's supposed to replace Hogan in WWF when Hogan left to WCW, right?
Yeah.
That's when they made him like the All-American dude, and he was body slamming.
They made him
on the fucking
with
carrier
the Lex
and stuff.
Express, and when he body slammed Yokozuna and all that.
Yeah.
And that didn't pan out, so then he became the narcissist.
He didn't body slam Yokozuna body slam.
He said Yoko made that shit happen, dude.
Well, yeah.
But
no, yeah, Yoko did the whole plant. Lex is just, but
movie magic.
It was movie magic, but it was one of those things where, does he deserve it? Yes, but like I said, there's just some things here. Like I said, at the end of the day, I'm sorry. Chris Benoit deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
and I'm sorry. That's a hot take. I catch shit for all the time.
I don't disagree with you, dude. I mean,
I mean,
O.J. Simpson's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but that was before, That, look at Tammy. Tammy's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Wrestling Hall of Fame.
There's a lot of
people, shots and ran over people like.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are in the Hall of Fame, and you're like, how did you get this past you?
And about it, like one of the huge advocates for like people not being in the Hall of Fame because of what they did after wrestling, like Superstar Billy Graham. He was like, I don't want to be he threw away his he threw it away or sold it, his Hall of Fame ring. Like when they kept Tammy in, when they kept Iron Sheik, and like all these different, like when they kept Snuka in, like stuff like that.
Boy, Snuka was one that pissed a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was the OJ of the Tongans. He got away with it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the rest of the class? You got Michelle and Hunter so far.
Those two actually deserve it.
I heard something about the natural disasters.
I haven't heard any rumors on anybody else yet.
Demolition should go in. They just signed that Legends contract, but they should go in.
The Road Warriors are already in there, right?
Was the one that they always feuded with LOD.
They're already in the Hall of Fame.
And Hawk and Animal are already in the Hall of Fame.
Demolition,
right?
Axis Smash.
They were like long-haired Road Warriors. Like they had the fucking
because they legitimately like Mad Max characters.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I forget which one it is. I think is it Smash? I think it's Smash that he was the Repo Man.
Shit, when I was a kid, I thought that that guy that Brutus the Barber Beefcake had become the one with the long hair.
Oh no, not the Booty Man.
They're not showing any tag team Hall of Famers. So far, it's just going to be Triple H, Michelle Cool, and Lex Luger.
So they have like 4 more spots to announce. Like I said, I've heard rumblings of the natural disasters. Which, I mean, that'd be great. Let's get John Tenta in there. Let's get Uncle Fred in there. I mean,
was that Earthquake and
Earthquake and Typhoon?
Earthquake and Typhoon, right?
He was also Tugboat.
Yeah, I remember when he was Tugboat, like fat fucking Popeye the Sailor Man looking.
And you got to remember, like I said, who better than Golga and the Shockmaster to go into the Hall of Fame?
Shockmaster.
It's funny because when you watch that and you see him fall, you hear Sid or Lex. One of, or think it's one of them.
Vicious.
Like, I told you he was gonna fall. I told you he was gonna fall.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing was hilarious. That is the most watched of follies of
And
wrestling.
what's even funnier about that is that so okay, it's a stormtrooper helmet. They glitter, they bedazzled, whatever, right? So
Bizarre.
then they make his entrance, right? Oh, well, he's gonna come on this fur now, and there's a no. He comes out as a construction guy, as like electrical worker, dude. Like what? The Shockmaster.
And
Uncle
and
Fred, what
and
you doing?
and they got
Get the helmet back on.
and, and they got someone else to do his voice.
It was
It
it was
was
Arn
just
Anderson, I think.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But it that was I watched
That
that
was ridiculous,
that day.
dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that
there
was
was-
ridiculous.
The best
That's
one
what
I like,
happened
well, not
when
the
you're
best
live,
one,
man.
but one of the weirdest ones was when RoboCop came out and helped Sting.
Yeah, I remember that.
dude.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think they put Abdullah into the chair, and he's all.
What was that one he was like a Sub-Zero reject type
Your
dude.
boy,
Glacier, yeah.
your boy Glacier. So we watch, like I said, if you watch, obviously you watch wrestling bios. When he's talking about reliving the wars, the Monday Night Wars,
hmm
you hear how happy he is when he's first talking about, oh, I remember Glacier, or like, I don't remember Glacier's coming, and then Glacier's coming. Where's this goddamn Sub-Zero ripoff son of a bitch? Like the different wrestling bios starts going off, dude.
That one took a while. I mean, when they introduced Taz, because I remember because they did at the time frame, it was Glacier and Taz. They were getting introduced at the same time frame in both the and the two different
Promotions.
promotions. Yes, thank you. Glacier was WCW. Taz was the other one. I mean,
ECW.
even Chris Jericho's was like badass because that was an entire year.
The Y2J countdown.
Yeah.
So I remember when Taz, like when he first came out, the Tasmaniac, right?
Yeah.
He was just like this primitive dude, breaks his neck, he comes back, and now he's just Taz.
Yeah.
Putting him up against Glacier, I don't know, man. Like
No. I'm talking about
like the time when they came out.
I'm not taking anything away because Taz was 100 times better, but you look at the difference of the promotion.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because they did Glacier and we were like, okay, you're not giving us a time frame when this is happening, what's going on.
No,
But when
if you
WWE
go back, they did. They said coming June of '96, coming May of '90, July of '96, August of '96, and then Glacier coming. That's it. They stopped putting months out there. But yeah, and to go back to you, yes, they kept giving something, but then I was like, no, they're not going to do it. Okay, I guess this is happening.
But with Taz, they just it kept up.
Oh yeah.
And they kept up the height. And you're like, oh, who? I wasn't an ECW watcher, so I was like, who is this guy? This looks cool. This looks awesome.
Like what I remember watching ECW back in the day, it was through tape trading or through Weekend. You lived on the East Coast, you got to see ECW. Or sometimes here in San Antonio, on UHF, not VHF, on UHF, you jiggled it just right. The winds would bring in a signal. Bam, ECW. And it was a crazy, like, who are these guys? Who's Eddie? Wait. Who are the Pitbulls? Who's Raven? Well, I knew Raven as Scotty Flamingo and Johnny Polo.
Yeah.
You know, exactly. Who's Sabu? Who's this guy? ECW was the true victim, the true casualty of the Monday Night Wars. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, we got a lot of good people from ECW.
Exactly, but that's what I mean. Like they were just taking people to where it was just like they couldn't backfill fast enough.
Yeah, and now they got like 15 different freaking shows.
Yeah, now it's like, oh, okay.
There's
And you
so
got
much
Smack-
talent now.
We don't
Keep up with everything.
talk about WWECW because that was just trash. Like that, I'm sorry. I'm a huge I love hardcore wrestling, deathmatch wrestling. I love ECW. I love all these different promotions that do crazy stuff like that. But your first show and like, okay, this is gonna be ECW, and you have a big mummy come out to attack someone, and then even the fans are chanting change the channel. It's like,
Yeah. That's pretty bad. Okay, here's another thing because I watched the AJ Styles episode this week too. Did you ever run around in the six post ring? How hard was that?
trash. But trash.
Because AJ was saying that because he was like it was the TNA's like thing, and then he ended up working on the regular ring, and he's like, "Oh, this is totally different."
Because you're used to working this way, that way, this way, but now you're gonna work this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, this like you're used to like this being standard. I guess to me, because when my fat ass could jump over the rope, I could. But what?
Chino's live studio audience.
Yeah,
I don't advocate
He's
for
getting
domestic
heckled right
violence.
now.
No, I didn't like it because it like to me the steps are just so different. Like how you had to work in that ring and this. Get me wrong, TNA y'all can make it work. At the time, hey, I wasn't a worker. Now would I do it if I could? Yeah, because they'll be like, oh, I worked again. I can work in it. I can work in any ring. Then again, I've worked in rings in Mexico, which are old boxing rings that when you land on it, it feels like you're legitimately landing on concrete.
Oof.
Legit, like I made the mistake of doing a leg drop from the second rope, and I was walking funny for like that whole tour.
Ugh.
So yes, I've worked in a 6-sided ring before. I didn't enjoy it at the time. Would I go back and try it again? Yes.
Well, everybody, thank you all for listening and watching. The three people we got listening to us. Thank you all for listening to us.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, us ramble on about wrestling. It's been really good. We're gonna keep this going. I can't wait till next week and get the dark side because I've been wanting to do the dark side ring. I'm
This is gonna be great, dude.
I am
Yeah.
watching. I've been watching some really weird stuff on the dark side of the ring.
Okay.
I can't wait to pick your brain on that one.
You're gonna want to look at Wrestling Iceberg also. It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Watch
Yeah,
that.
just-
But pick your
just-
favorite ones. But I had to throw the Dusty Dustin. I had to throw that one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Send me some stuff, and I'll go through it throughout the weekend. Because I'm gonna hopefully by this weekend we'll have an actual trailer for intro video. But anyways, thank you everybody. I'm David Dickerman.
Trey Witzel.
I am the badass fat ass.
Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. And goodbye.